Welcome back, folks, to the Random Video Blog, where every single Friday I, Graham G.S. Matthews, run down my rambling thoughts in the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. And first and foremost, I do want to apologize for no installment last week of the video blog. I took a couple days off from social media upon coming home from college. Not like there was anything really worth talking about anyway, so I didn't really pick a bad week to skip it out on the video blog. There really wasn't. I didn't have anything scheduled that I wanted to talk about, so I figured if I'm not going to do a video blog, it might as well be last week. But we are back with a bang for the first time in 2 weeks here in the Random Video Blog to talk about the 5-year anniversary on this day, same exact day of the week, May 20th, 2011, the 5-year anniversary of the death of Macho Man Randy Savage. As you can see, I'm wearing the t-shirt here today for this very video. One of my favorite and one of the best wrestling t-shirts that I own, which is saying a lot, but maybe not really, because I mean, it's kind of a given, but I own a lot of wrestling shirts. Anyone who knows me well knows that I own a lot of wrestling shirts. But yeah, it was 5 years ago today, and the thing is, I've wanted to do this video blog, because we've been doing the video blog for a little over two and a half years at this point. We are over 100 episodes in, like I talked about a few months ago. Over 100 episodes in, we started doing this around early 2014. I wanted to do this 2 years ago in May of 2014. I wanted to do it last May. I just never got around to it for whatever reason. I figured if there was any day to do it, might as well do it on the exact anniversary, 5 years later to the day, on a Friday, the same Friday that it was 5 years ago. So it's almost perfect in a way. But yeah, the death of Macho Man Randy Savage, one of the saddest days in pro wrestling. And the thing was, by that point, I'd only been a wrestling fan for about 3 years. Not to say I didn't know who Macho Man was, because obviously I did. I was still a pretty knowledgeable wrestling fan at that point, even 3 years into my wrestling fandom. But I think if it happened today, a lot like with what happened with Piper, when Piper passed, when Dusty passed, Warrior was a different story because he impacted my life personally, both inspirationally and personally, whatever. So that was a different story when he passed 2 years ago. But with Piper and even Dusty and guys like that, that really hit me hard because those are the guys that you kind of grow up watching on WWE TV. Macho Man was a different story because at the time that he had passed, he had not appeared on WWE TV in almost 2 decades. He left in 1994, never came back, along with the other WCW holdouts. He didn't make a return like, Piper and Hogan and Hall and Nash and Goldberg and Flair and all the others. He never did come back. He left on very bad terms, and there was this whole scandal, whether he slept with Stephanie or not, and that was not really outright said in the WWE's DVD that they came out with him. And they came out a compilation of his best matches and moments back in 2009, I believe, but they came out with another DVD, which I'm going to watch today, actually, just 2 years ago, I think, in 2014. It's a great DVD. Or maybe it was 2015. No, I think it was definitely 2014 because it came out in 2014, and I bought it in 2015. But it's a really, really good DVD. I think the documentary portion is on the network if you want to check it out. I own the full 3-disc set. I bought it on sale on WWEshop.com, whatever. But anyway, getting back to my original point, I don't know if they outright talk about it in the documentary, that the whole scandal, Stephanie and Macho Man and whatever, that was kind of, whether it was accurate, whether it was true, whether it was false, whatever. I'm pretty sure it was false, as Lanny has since come out and talked about on various podcasts, various platforms and stuff like that. But it was really a shame that he never came back and he had passed before he could take his ultimate place in the WWE Hall of Fame. And that's why I'm so glad people like Warrior came back, and Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino, and all the others. You never know when these guys are going to pass. It's really kind of, Warrior died 2 days after he got inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame, 2 or 3 days afterwards. So you never really know what might happen, and Macho Man's death kind of took everyone by surprise. But going back to what I was saying originally, it didn't really hit me hard. Like I said, with Dusty and with Piper, it really hit me hard. I was sad for a couple days for both guys after they passed. Warrior was a different story, like I said, because he impacted me personally. But with Macho Man, it was kind of one of those things like, oh, fuck, that really sucks. Like one of those things. And maybe it was because, A, he wasn't on WWE TV a lot when I started watching wrestling in 2008. B, they really did not they didn't really put together an elaborate farewell or a tribute show. I don't even know. It must have been acknowledged at that pay-per-view that Sunday. They had Over the Limit that Sunday. It happened on Friday, obviously, like I said. They had the pay-per-view on Sunday. They might have had a graphic or something for it. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I got to watch it back. I haven't seen that pay-per-view in forever. In about 2 years, I think, at this point. They did put together, and they might have had a graphic on Raw too, but I know for a fact they aired that video package on Raw for Macho Man set to The Scientist, The Scientist by Coldplay, I believe. I'm going to air it during Raw. That I broke down for. That I shed a tear for. That was a really well done video package. And I know they changed, they switched out the song for something else, and they replayed it on SmackDown. I don't know if you could probably still find it on YouTube. It's a great video package, one of my favorite video packages that WWE has ever done. Again, for a guy that had not been involved in the company for about 20 years, but easily one of the most biggest influences in not only WWE, but pro wrestling history. One of the biggest icons of the 80s, along with Hogan and Warrior and Piper and all the others, Jimmy Snuka. So he really was, his death was a huge blow to not only WWE, but pro wrestling on the whole. And I just remember when it happened, I put up a Facebook status about it, which I did not tend to do from time to time back then, make pro wrestling statuses, but this was big enough that I had to. This warranted me doing that. That I remember when I came home that day from school. I heard about it first at school, and I was texting someone back and forth. We were like, geez, that really fucking sucks. And I was really kind of bummed out when I read about it at school. When I got home that day, my brother had like ESPN on in the background, which I never watch, obviously, but of course the coach was on it. And the coach made again, I was not watching it. It was kind of on in the background. He made a side comment about Macho Man Randy Savage passing away. They started playing the Pomp and Circumstance theme song, which was great. And I was like, wow, really? Like, this is a huge, huge blow to kind of just the world of pop culture. I mean, everyone knows who, Macho Man Randy Savage is. You see these t-shirts all the time. I see them in public. And I've worn him out in public, and people have given me compliments and stuff. It's cool because he was really that big of an influence in the world of wrestling and just the world of pop culture on the whole in the 80s and 90s. So it's really, surreal when you see stuff like that and you hear stuff like that. So it really was a tragic day for wrestling, and it really sucked. And like I said, in the last, couple of years, it's great. They finally inducted him into the WWE Hall of Fame just last year. Long overdue. And Pomp and Circumstance, the same song they play at graduation and stuff when I graduated high school in 2013, just 3 years ago at this point. It's crazy to believe. It's crazy to think it's been that long. And I'll also be graduating college next year. And I think they played at graduation. I'm not exactly sure. I know RJ's graduating tomorrow. Maybe he could tell me. And hopefully does a Macho Man twirl for me. And I know I'm going to be doing when I graduate next year. But, hearing that, and I think, the crazy thing is that I think on this day, a year ago from today, on this day next year, which is going to be on a Saturday, I graduate. So I'll be graduating on the 6-year anniversary of Macho Man's death, and they'll be playing Pomp and Circumstance. How crazy is that? Like, that's fucking surreal. And I know I am planning, I already have it set out. I have this t-shirt just set out for a year ago from today, a year from now, that I'll be wearing this t-shirt underneath my cap and gown and whatever, and I'll definitely be doing a Macho Man twirl to Pomp and Circumstance on my graduation day and my college graduation day. And how can I not? With the fact that 6 years to the day, it's just surreal. But like I said, a really sad day in pro wrestling. Today we take the time to not only mourn the loss, but celebrate the life and legacy of the Macho Man Randy Savage. And like I said earlier, cheap plug, check out the t-shirt. Not only check out my shirt, but buy the shirt from WWEshop.com. I would have bought it a lot earlier than I did, but they didn't have it in stock. And like I said, one of, if not the most popular t-shirt out there, along with the NWO shirts and Austin 316, one of the greatest, most simplest, and just fun t-shirts to wear. I love the color. I love the design. I think they might still have some in stock and some in stock at WWE Shop. You can buy them. I know I bought mine at FYE, which I know for a fact doesn't are still around the rest of the country. I bought mine in FYE here in Connecticut. And I heard from somebody else that said that those FYE stores are closing down pretty quickly. But even still, I'll be watching the Macho Man DVD later today, like I said, so I can't wait to watch that and sit down and watch that and celebrate the life and legacy of the Macho Man Randy Savage. So I would love to know what your guys' thoughts were on the day that he died 5 years ago today, your thoughts on his favorite matches and moments of yours, of his, whatever. So leave them down in the comments. Tweet me on the Twitter at WrestleRant, on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.Jason.Matthews. All the links are down below in the description box. Giving all the oh yeah for Macho Man Randy Savage here today. I'll be back next week with my full experience from WWE Extreme Rules this Sunday, which I will be in attendance for with Mr. Marceau, RJ Marceau. Can't wait for it. We'll be talking all about the experience in the video blog next Friday. So until then, guys, have a great Macho Man-filled weekend. I'm Graham Jason Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.